Hello students, in today's lecture we will discuss chapter 19 Chemical Coordination and Integration Theory part 3, and in today's session we will cover NCERT section 19.2. This is disclaimer. So these will be our learning objectives for today. We will understand the adrenal glands hormones and their roles in stress, metabolism and electrolyte balance. Then we will discuss the pancreatic hormones, what are their function in regulating blood glucose level. Then we will identify the testicular hormones and their functions in male reproduction and secondary sexual characteristics. And finally, we will identify the ovarian hormones and their functions in female reproduction as well as sexual development. So this is index for today. We will cover human endocrine system. In here we will discuss adrenal gland, pancreatic gland, testis. We'll bind up the chapter with summary. We'll discuss some NCERT based questions. Finally, we'll end this session with some keynotes and interesting questions. So let's start with adrenal gland. So these glands are pair of small triangular shaped organs which you can see in this diagram also, just above each kidney in the abdomen. So they are part of endocrine system and play a key role in producing hormones that help the body respond to stress, regulate metabolism and maintain blood pressure. So each adrenal gland has two parts: the outer cortex, which produces hormones like cortisol and aldosterone, and the inner medulla, which produces adrenaline. So these hormones are essential for the body's ability to cope with stress and maintain homeostasis. These are also called as suprarenal glands. So as I told you now, it is composed of two distinct tissue types. First we have adrenal medulla, which is the inner portion, okay? And then we have adrenal cortex, which is the outer portion. So it is the outer layer. Adrenal cortex is the outer layer, and it is responsible for producing hormones like cortisol, aldosterone, and androgen. So these hormones help regulate metabolism, blood pressure, and stress response, and they are very important for maintaining the body's balance and responding to various physiological needs. So you can see in this picture adrenal glands and its main function. Let's talk about specifically adrenal medulla. So it is the inner part of the adrenal gland located above the kidney, and it produces hormones like adrenaline and non-adrenaline. So these hormones are released in response to stress or danger, preparing the body for a fight or flight reaction by increasing heart rate, raising blood pressure and boosting energy levels. So this helps the body react quickly to emergencies. So main hormones secreted by adrenal medulla are adrenaline, or we can say epinephrine. Then we have non-adrenaline, which is non-epinephrine. So non-adrenaline, which is also called as non-epinephrine, is a neurotransmitter and hormone as well that plays a key role in body's flight or fight response. So it is produced by the adrenal glands and certain neurons in the brain. As a neurotransmitter, it helps transmit signals between nerve cells, especially in the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for quick responses to stress or danger. It also acts as a hormone by increasing heart rate, blood pressure, and energy levels during stressful responses, or we can say stressful situations. In the brain, non-adrenaline is involved in attention, memory, and arousal, and it is highly associated with the regulation of mood as well as alertness. So these are collectively called as catecholamines. Catecholamines are group of neurotransmitters and hormones including adrenaline, non-adrenaline, and dopamine, which are collectively referred to as catecholamines due to their similar chemical structure containing a catechol group. So these substances are produced in the adrenal glands and certain neurons, and they play a key role in body's response to stress, regulating heart rate, blood pressure, and mood. Adrenal medulla, we have just discussed about it, that it is the inner part of the adrenal gland located above the kidneys. It produces the and releases hormones like adrenaline, which we call it as epinephrine, and non-epinephrine in response to stress or danger. It helps the body prepare for fight and flight reaction by increasing heart rate, blood pressure, and energy levels. Let's see functions of catecholamines. Emergency or stress response. Okay, so during emergencies or stress, the body releases fight or flight response, or we can say hormones like adrenaline and non-adrenaline from the adrenal glands. So these hormones prepares the body to either confront the danger or escape quickly by increasing heart rate, boosting energy, and sharpening senses, all to help you react fast in stressful situations. So increased alertness is a physiological effect that occurs when the body releases certain hormones such as adrenaline in response to stress or excitement. So this leads to heightened awareness, we can say faster reaction also, and a general sense of being more awake and ready to act, which is commonly experienced during situations like danger, competition, or intense emotions. So it will increase alertness. Pupil dilation, it will also lead to pupil dilation. Here pupil dilation refers to the change in the size of black circular opening in the center of the eye, which is called as pupil. Okay, we can say widening of pupil, which allows light to enter and reach the retina. So this process is controlled by the iris, a muscular structure that adjusts the pupil size based on light intensity. So in low light, the pupil dilates, or we can say become larger to let in more light, improving vision. While in bright light, what happens? It constricts, or we can say become smaller to reduce excessive light energy and excessive light entry, protecting the sensitive retina. So this is a natural reflex regulated by the autonomic nervous system, and it is very important for proper vision and light adaptation. It can also lead to hair raising, or we can say piloerection. Okay, it is natural body response where the hairs on the skin stand upright due to contraction of erector pili muscles, which are small muscles attached to hair follicles. So this reaction is triggered by cold, fear, or emotional stress, and it helps in trapping a layer of warm air near the skin to retain body heat, or in creating the appearance of being larger to appear more intimidating. It may lead to enhanced weighting. Okay, it is a body's response to increased body temperature, often due to physical activity, hot weather, or fever. So, when the body gets too cold, the hypothalamus, which acts as the body's thermostat, signals the sweat glands to produce more and more sweat. So, as sweat evaporates from the skin, it helps cool the body down. So, this process is essential for maintaining a stable internal temperature, which is very important for proper functioning of body cells as well as organs. Let's see functions of catecholamines. So it increase heart rate and strength. It lead to accelerated respiration as well. And we know accelerated respiration, it is a process in which rate of cellular respiration increases to produce more energy, usually in response to increased demand by the body, such as during exercise or stress. Then it will lead to elevate blood sugar. It tend to elevate blood sugar through glucagon breakdown. So when blood sugar level rises, the body breaks down glucagon stored in the liver through a process which is called as glycogenolysis. Lysis means breakdown. So this breakdown releases glucose molecules in the blood, into the bloodstream, helping to maintain stable blood sugar levels. So this process is important for providing a quick energy source, especially during periods of fasting or intense physical activity. Stimulation of lipid and protein breakdown. So when the body needs energy, it breaks down fats, or we can say lipids and proteins, into smaller molecules like fatty acids and amino acids, which are then used to produce energy through cellular respiration. So this process is stimulated when there is a lack of glucose or during periods of fasting, helping the body maintain essential functions and energy supply. So we have discussed already that adrenal cortex it is the stuck outer layer of the adrenal gland, which is a part of endocrine gland and produces important hormones like cortisol, aldosterone, and androgen. Cortisol helps the body manage stress and regulate metabolism, whereas aldosterone controls body blood pressure by balancing salt and water in the body, and androgen, these are male sex hormones that play a key role in females. So these hormones are essential for maintaining homeostasis and responding to various physiological needs. Let's see structural layers. First, we have zona glomerulosa is the outer layer of the adrenal cortex, and it is responsible for producing aldosterone, a hormone that helps regulate blood pressure by controlling the balance of salt and water in the body. So this layer is important for maintaining proper electrolyte levels and blood pressure, as aldosterone promotes sodium retention and potassium excretion in the kidneys. Then we have second layer is zona fasciculata, which is the middle layer of the adrenal cortex and responsible for producing glucocorticoids, primarily cortisol. So it plays a key role in regulating metabolism by helping the body manage stress, maintain sugar levels, and control inflammation. So this layer is stimulated by adrenocorticotropic hormone, or we can say ACTH, from the pituitary gland, and its activity is crucial for body's response to stress as well as maintaining homeostasis. Then third we have zona reticularis. It is the innermost layer of the adrenal cortex, and it primarily produces androgens, or we can say androgens, from the for which are the male sex hormones. Okay, so it produces androgens, which are male sex hormones. So these hormones play a key role in development of secondary sexual characteristics and also have effects on muscle mass and bone density. So in males, they contribute to development of features like facial hair, while in females they are involved in maintaining skin health and regulating menstrual cycle. So these hormones are also important in stress responses and maintaining overall metabolic balance. Hormones secreted by adrenal cortex. First, we have glucocorticoids, or we can say cortisol. So hormones like cortisol are the hormones that help the body manage stress by promoting gluconeogenesis, which is the process of making glucose from non-carbohydrate sources such as amino acids and glycerol. So this ensures a steady supply of glucose in the blood, especially during times when food intake is low or the body is under stress, supporting energy needs for vital organs like brain. So it promotes gluconeogenesis. So it stimulates lipolysis and proteolysis, which refers to the process of breaking down fats, or we can say lipids and proteins respectively, which are very important for energy production and nutrient utilization in the body. Lipolysis is the breakdown of triglycerides into free fatty acids and glycerol, primarily stimulated by hormones like adrenaline and glucagon during stress or fasting. So proteolysis involves the digestion of proteins into amino acids, mainly occurring in the stomach and small intestine with the help of enzymes like pepsin and trypsin. So these processes are crucial for providing energy and building blocks for cellular functions. Inhibit amino acid uptake. Okay, it refers to the mechanism by which certain substances or conditions block the absorption of amino acids into the cells, typically in the small intestine. So this can occur through competitive inhibition, where small molecules compete for the same transporters, or by altering the pH or enzyme activity that aids in amino acid absorption. So this inhibition can affect protein synthesis and overall growth, highlighting the importance of balanced nutrient absorption in maintaining cellular functions. Support cardiovascular function. It refers to the actions on nutrients that help the heart and blood vessels work efficiently, and it ensures proper blood flow and oxygen supply to the body. In biology, it is often linked to healthy diet, regular exercise, and avoiding harmful habits like smoking, all of which strengthen the heart muscle, improve blood circulation, and reduce the risk of heart disease. Anti-inflammatory actions or effects. These refer to the ability of certain substances or processes to reduce inflammation in the body, which is natural process response to injury or infection. So inflammation, we know it is a protective mechanism that helps the body heal, but excessive or chronic inflammation can lead to diseases. So anti-inflammatory agents such as certain drugs or natural compounds work by inhibiting the production of inflammatory chemicals like cytokines and prostaglandins, thereby reducing swelling, pain, and redness. So, this helps in managing conditions like arthritis or allergies, promoting better health and recovery. Suppressing the immune response here refers to the process where the body's immune system is intentionally or unintentionally prevented from recognizing and fighting off pathogens or harmful substances. So, this can occur due to various reasons, such as the use of immunosuppressive drugs in organ transplant patients to prevent rejection, or in cases of immunodeficiency disorders where the immune system is not functional properly. Stimulate RBC production. So it refers to the process by which the body increases the number of red blood cells or RBCs primarily through the hormone which is called as erythropoietin. So it is released by the kidneys in response to low oxygen levels. So this hormone signals the bone marrow to produce more RBCs, which carries oxygen throughout the body. So this process is very important for maintaining adequate oxygen supply, especially during conditions like anemia, high altitude, or after blood loss. Hormones secreted by adrenal cortex. First, we have mineralocorticoids, especially aldosterone. These are the hormones that help the body manage salt and water balance by increasing reabsorption of sodium ions in the kidneys, which in turn helps retain water and maintain blood pressure. So, regular and sodium ion reabsorption happens here. It leads to sodium ion reabsorption. Then it control water reabsorption. So, control of water absorption in the kidneys is a key process regulated by antidiuretic hormone or ADH, which is released by the pituitary gland in response to low blood volume or high blood osmolarity. So, ADH here acts on the collecting ducts of the nephron, increasing their permeability to water, thereby promoting water absorption back into the blood. So, this helps maintain blood volume and blood pressure, and it also ensures that the body retains enough water to prevent dehydration. So, the process is crucial for balancing body fluids and maintaining homeostasis. It manages K plus excretion. Okay, so it is the process by which kidneys regulate the amount of potassium in the blood, ensuring it stays within the normal range. So kidneys adjust potassium excretion based on body's need, primarily through the distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. So when the blood potassium levels are high, the kidneys increases K plus excretion into the urine to lower blood levels. So this is controlled by the hormones like aldosterone, which promotes potassium secretion and sodium reabsorption. So proper potassium excretion is very important for maintaining heart function, nerve signaling, and muscle contraction, as excess potassium can lead to dangerous heart rhythms. Regulate phosphate ion excretion. So it is a key function of the kidneys where they control the amount of phosphate in the blood by adjusting how much is filtered and reabsorbed back into the body or excreted in the urine. So when the blood phosphate levels are high, the kidneys excrete more phosphate in urine to maintain balance, and when these levels are low, they reabsorb more. We can say they reabsorb more and more to keep it within healthy range. So this whole process is very important for maintaining proper bone health, nerve function, as well as overall metabolic balance in our body. Then we have mineralocorticoids, specifically aldosterone. So these are the hormones produced by the adrenal glands that help regulate the balance of salt and water in the body by acting on the kidneys. So they increases the reabsorption of sodium and water back into the blood and promote the excretion of potassium, which helps maintain blood pressure and fluid balance in the body. So it maintains electrolyte balance. Body fluid volume. Okay, body fluid volume here refers to the total amount of fluid present in the body, which is very important for maintaining life and regulating bodily functions. It also maintains osmotic pressure. We know osmotic pressure, what it is. It is a process that needs to be applied to solution to prevent the movement of water into it across a semi-permeable membrane, which happens due to osmosis. So, in simple terms, we can say it is a force that stops water from moving into solution from pure water, and it depends on the concentration of the solutes in the solution. So, this concept is very important, especially in understanding how cells regulate their water balance, as cells uses osmotic pressure to maintain their shape as well as function. Blood pressure, it also maintains blood pressure. We know blood pressure, but it is a force exerted by the blood against the walls of the blood vessels as the heart pumps blood throughout the body. So it is measured in two values, which is systolic pressure, which is the pressure where the heart contracts and pushes blood out, and diastolic pressure, which is the pressure where the heart relaxes between beats. So normal blood pressure is essential for proper circulation, and high or low blood pressure can lead to health issues like heart diseases or stroke. So, maintaining healthy blood pressure is crucial for overall cardiovascular health. Let's talk about androgenic steroids like testosterone. So they help in the growth of axial hair and pubic hair during puberty. These hormones are produced mainly by the testes in boys and ovaries and adrenal glands in girls. So they play a crucial role in development of secondary sexual characters such as growth of the body hair, which is one of the signs that a boy is becoming more and more mature. So it supports growth of axial hair as well as pubic hair. It also support the growth of facial hair during puberty. So you have been observed that during puberty what happens, the body undergoes several changes including the development of facial hair, which is a result of increased hormonal levels, particularly testosterone. So this hormone stimulates the growth of hair in areas like the face, leading to the appearance of beard or mustache hair in the boys. So this change is a normal part of sexual maturation and signifies the body's transition towards adult characteristics. Let's talk about some disorders. Addison's disease. So, this disease is a condition where the adrenal glands do not produce enough of certain hormones, mainly cortisol and aldosterone, which is very important for regulating metabolism, blood pressure, and the body's response to stress. So, this happens due to damage to the adrenal glands, often caused by an autoimmune disorder where the body's immune system attacks them. So, people with Addison's disease may experience fatigue, weight loss, low blood pressure, and darkening of the skin. It is usually treatable with hormone replacement therapy to replace the missing hormones. So, it is caused by underproduction of adrenal cortex hormones. Okay. So the adrenal cortex is a part of adrenal glands located on the top of kidneys, and it produces important hormones like cortisol and aldosterone, which helps in regulation of the metabolism, blood pressure, and stress response. So when there is a underproduction of these hormones, it can lead to condition which we can call it as adrenal insufficiency, which may cause symptoms like fatigue, weight loss, low blood pressure, and electrolyte imbalance. So this condition can be due to various reasons, including diseases of adrenal glands or problems within the pituitary glands that control adrenal hormone release. It results in disturbed carbohydrate metabolism. So, when a person has diabetes, their body cannot properly use or store glucose, leading to disturbed carbohydrate metabolism. This means that the body either doesn't produce enough insulin or doesn't use it effectively, causing high blood pressure levels. So, as a result, what happens? The body starts breaking down fat and muscles for energy, which can lead to various health issues like weight loss, fatigue, and long term complications such as heart disease and kidney problems. So, this disruption in carbohydrate metabolism is a key characteristic of diabetes. Leads to severe weakness and fatigue. So, it refers to the effects of condition that significantly impairs the body's ability to function properly, such as deficiency in essential nutrients like iron, or disorder affecting energy production such as anemia. So it can be this can be linked to the role of hemoglobin in the transporting oxygen to tissue. So when there is a lack of hemoglobin, cells receive less oxygen and lead to reduced energy production, which in turn causes severe weakness as well as fatigue. So disease we can summarize in this way, that it is caused by underproduction of adrenal cortex hormones. It results in disturbed carbohydrate metabolism, and it leads to several or we can say severe weakness, or we can say fatigueness. Let's talk about pancreas. So you can see in this picture the structure of pancreas and its and their hormones, what it and the essential hormones it secretes. Let's talk about structure and composition of pancreas. So it is an organ that has both exocrine and endocrine functions, and it is made up of two main parts. That is, the exocrine pancreas, which produces digestive enzymes and releases them through ducts into small intestine, and the endocrine pancreas, which contains hormone-producing cells like the islets of Langerhans. So these islets releases insulin and glucagon, which help regulate body blood sugar in the body blood sugar. Okay, it helps in the regulation of uh, blood sugar levels in the body. So it is a composite. Pancreas is a composite gland, which means it has two main functions. One is exocrine, where it produces digestive enzymes that helps break down food in the small intestine, and the other is endocrine gland, where it releases hormones like insulin and glucagon directly into the bloodstream to regulate body sugar levels. Okay. So endocrine pancreas contains cluster of specialized cells called as islets of Langerhans, which produces hormones like insulin and glucagon to regulate sugar levels in the body. So in a normal human, there are many small clusters called as islets of Langerhans, and there are about 1 to 2 million of these islets present. So these islets play a key role in regulating blood sugar levels by producing hormones like insulin and glucagon, which help control how the body uses and stores energy. So they make up a small fraction, only 1 to 2% of total pancreatic tissues. So the two main types of cells within the islets are, it has alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells, it produces glucagon, a hormone that raises blood sugar levels by stimulating the liver to release stored glucose. Talking about beta cells, they produce insulin, a hormone that lowers body blood sugar levels by helping cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream. So these two hormones work together to regulate blood sugar levels in the body, ensuring they remain within the blood healthy range. Alpha cells, they are found in the pancreas. We know it secretes the hormone glucagon. Glucagon, it plays a key role in regulating blood sugar levels by stimulating the liver to convert stored glycogen into glucose, which is then released into the bloodstream. So this whole process help in increasing blood sugar level when they are too low, such as after fasting or during intense exercise, ensuring that the body has enough energy to function properly. Beta cells, it secretes the hormone insulin. Okay, we know insulin. So when blood sugar levels rises after eating, beta cells releases insulin in the bloodstream, which signals cells throughout the body to absorb glucose, thereby lowering blood sugar levels. So this whole process is very important for maintaining healthy metabolism and preventing conditions like diabetes. Let's talk about glucagon's role. In this diagram also you can see the role of glucagon. Okay, so we have just discussed that glucagon is a peptide hormone produced by the pancreas, especially by the alpha cells in the islets of Langerhans. So it plays a key role in regulating blood sugar levels by stimulating the liver to control stored glycogen into glucose, which is then released into the bloodstream. This whole process is called as glycogenolysis. It helps increase blood sugar levels when they are too low, such as after fasting or during exercise. So glucagon works in opposition to insulin, which lowers blood sugar, and together they maintain a balanced glucose level in the body. Let's talk about function. It is primarily a hyperglycemic hormone. So it refers to the function of glucagon, which is secreted by the pancreas. Glucagon, we know that it works by raising blood sugar levels, making it hyperglycemic hormone, and this occurs when the blood sugar is too low, such as during fasting or glucose, and glucagon stimulates the liver to convert stored glycogen into glucose, which is then released into the bloodstream. So this whole process helps maintain a stable supply of glucose for the body cells, especially the brain, which relies heavily on glucose for energy. So it increases blood sugar levels. Uh, uh, we can say it refers to the effect of certain substances like glucose or sugar when consumed, which causes this blood sugar level in the body to rise. Okay. So we know body uses glucose as a primary energy source, and the pancreas releases insulin to help cells absorb glucose from the body. However, consistently high blood sugar levels can lead to health issues like diabetes. So it's important to understand how the body regulates glucose levels through processes like digestion, absorption, and insulin action. It regulates food intake. It affects myocardial contraction. We know it refers to how certain substances or conditions can influence the strength and efficiency of heart's muscles contraction. Okay. So we know that myocardial contraction is regulated by the ions, which are calcium, which trigger the contraction of cardiac muscle cells. So any factor that alters the levels of these ions or the electrical signals in the heart can affect how well the heart pumps blood, potentially leading to conditions like arrhythmias, or we can say heart failure. So understanding this helps in grasping how the heart works and how disruptions can impact overall health. increases fatty acid oxidation. So it refers to the process where the body breaks down fatty acid to produce energy, especially when there's a lack of glucose. So this process mainly occurs in the mitochondria of cells through a series of reactions called as beta oxidation. So during this process, what happens? Fatty acids are broken down into acetyl CoA, which then enters the Krebs cycle to generate ATP, the energy currency of the cell. So this is particularly important during fasting or prolonged exercise when glucose levels are low and the body relies on fat as an energy source. Let's talk about mechanism. First, we have glucogenolysis. So, it is the process by which the body breaks down glucogen, which is a stored form of glucose, into glucose molecules to release energy when needed, especially during periods of low blood sugar. So, this happens mainly in the liver and muscle cells where enzymes split glucogen into glucose 1 phosphate, which is then converted to glucose 6 phosphate and eventually into free sugar. So, in this whole process, this sugar is released into the bloodstream to maintain blood sugar levels and provide energy to the cells. So it acts mainly on liver cells, or we can say hepatocytes. So hepatocytes, we know, which are the main type of cells in the liver, and it is responsible for carrying out most of the liver's functions such as detoxification, metabolism, and producing essential proteins. So it stimulates the breakdown of stored glycogen into glucose. We have just talked about it. Then talking about gluconeogenesis, it is the process in which the body makes glucose from non-carbohydrate sources like amino acid, lactate, and glycerol. Mainly, when there is not enough glucose available in the environment, such as during fasting or intense exercise. So this process mainly occurs in the liver and to a lesser extent in the kidney. So it ensures that the body has steady supply of glucose for energy, especially for the brain and RBCs, which rely heavily on glucose. So it stimulates the creation of new glucose from other sources, contributing to hyperglycemia. So they encourage hormones like glucagon are released, and what they do, they encourage the body to make new glucose from other substances such as amino acid or glycerol. So this process is called as gluconeogenesis, which increases the amount of glucose in the blood, leading to condition which is called as hyperglycemia, which is when the blood sugar levels are too high. So this is especially important when there is not enough glucose available from the food, such as during fasting or intense exercise. Glucose utilization. It refers to the process by which cells uses glucose, a type of sugar, such as a source of energy, or we can say it acts as the energy. So this process mainly occurs through cellular respiration, where glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen to produce ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell. So this happens in three main stages, which is first is glycolysis in the cytoplasm, then we have Krebs cycle, and the third is electron transport chain in the mitochondria. So the entire process is essential for providing its energy to carry out life processes, and it is very important for our overall health. Okay, so glucagon reduces the uptake and use of glucose by body cells, keeping more glucose in the bloodstream. Let's talk about insulin. We know insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that helps regulate blood sugar levels by allowing cells to absorb glucose from the blood, which they use for energy. So, when we eat, our blood sugar rises and insulin is released to help cells take in the glucose. And it eventually leads to lowering our blood sugar levels in the blood. So, insulin is essential for converting glucose into energy and storing excess glucose as glycogen in the liver and muscles. So, without enough insulin, as in diabetes, blood sugar can become too high, leading to health problems. So we have just discussed it is a peptide hormone produced by the pancreas, especially by the beta cells in the isles of Langerhans, and it plays a key role in regulating blood sugar levels in the body. So when blood sugar levels rises, such as after eating, insulin is released into the bloodstream. So it helps cells in the body, especially muscles and fat cells, to take in glucose from the blood, which lowers blood glucose levels. So insulin also promotes the storage of excess glucose as glycogen in the liver and in muscles, and it inhibits the breakdown of stored glycogen into the into glucose. Okay, so this makes insulin a major regulator of blood glucose, ensuring that the body maintains a stable supply of energy while preventing high blood sugar level. Let's talk about function. So it has hypoglycemic effect, decreasing blood sugar levels. Okay, it has hypoglycemic effect. It decreases blood sugar level. It inhibits glucose release from the liver. So it regulates blood sugar levels, especially after a meal, by preventing the liver from adding extra glucose into the bloodstream, which keeps blood sugar within a healthy range. It balances potassium. So it is very important for maintaining proper nerve and muscle function, as well as regulating blood pressure as well. Okay, so the kidney here play a key role in process by adjusting the amount of potassium excreted in the urine based on body's needs. So when potassium levels are too high, or we can say hyperkalemia, it can lead to heart irregularities, while the if the level of potassium is too low, or we can say hypokalemia, then it can cause muscle weakness as well as cramps. So the body maintains this balance through hormonal regulation such as aldosterone, which helps retain potassium when needed. So this homeostasis ensures that the cell function properly and overall health is maintained. It supports cellular health. It supports cellular overall cellular health. Let's discuss about insulin more. Let's see mechanism first. Enhance uptake. So it refers to the increased absorption of nutrients or substances by the cells, often due to specific mechanisms like active transport or facilitate diffusion, which help move substances again their concentration gradient, ensuring that cells receive necessary materials even where they are in low concentration outside the cell. So it acts on hepatocytes and adipocytes, or we can say fat cells. It enhances cellular glucose uptake and utilization. It means it helps cells absorb more glucose from the bloodstream and use it efficiently for energy. And this process is important for maintaining energy levels in the body, especially in cells like muscle and fat cells, which rely on glucose for fuel. It promotes a rapid movement of glucose out of the blood. So it is mainly achieved through insulin, which is the hormone released by the pancreas when blood sugar levels are too high. And it helps insulin helps cells in the body like muscle, or we can say fat cells, taking glucose from the blood, which lowers blood glucose levels very quickly. Glucogenesis. Genesis means formation. Okay, so it is a process by which the body converts excess glucose into glucogen glycogen, which is a storage form of glucose primarily in the liver and muscle cells, and it helps in maintaining stable blood sugar levels and providing energy when needed. So this occurs when there is an excess amount of glucose is present in the bloodstream, usually after a meal, and it involves the addition of phosphate groups to glucose molecules to form glycogen, which is a which is then stored in cells for later use. So, insulin stimulates the conversion of excess glucose into glycogen for storage in target cells. Glucose homeostasis. It refers the body's ability to keep blood sugar levels stable, ensuring that glucose is available to cells when needed and not in excess. So, this process is mainly regulated by the hormones like insulin and glucagon, which are produced by the pancreas. Insulin, we know that it lowers blood sugar by promoting its uptake into the cells, especially in the liver and the muscles, while glucagon raises blood glucose by stimulating the release of stored glucose from the liver. So these hormones work together to maintain a balanced level of glucose in the bloodstream, which is very important for proper cell function and energy supply. So body's blood glucose balance is a joint effort. Okay, it is a joint effort, or we can say the body keeps blood glucose level steady through homeostasis, which means different systems here work together. So the pancreas releases insulin when blood sugar is high, helping cells absorb glucose. So when glucose is low, the liver releases stored glucose, and this teamwork between the pancreas, liver, and cells ensures stable energy levels, showing how body systems cooperate to maintain balance. So it is maintained by the counteracting effect of insulin and glucagon. Okay. So the body maintains blood sugar balance through the counteracting effects of insulin and glucagon, which are the hormone produced by the pancreas. We know insulin lowers blood sugar levels by helping cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream, whereas glucagon, it raises blood sugar level by stimulating the liver to release stored glucose. Then insulin is released when the blood glucose levels are high, and glucagon is released when they are low. So this antagonistic relationship ensures that the um, blood sugar stays within the normal range. Let's talk about diabetes mellitus. So, it is a chronic disease where the body either can't produce enough insulin or can't use it properly. It will eventually lead to high blood sugar levels. So, insulin, we know it is a hormone that helps cells absorb glucose from the blood for energy. So, when this process is disrupted, glucose builds up in the blood, causing various health issues like fatigue, weight loss, and long term damage to organs. So, it is classified into type 1, where the body stops making insulin, and type 2, where the body becomes resistant to insulin. Okay, so proper management through diet, exercise, and medication is very important to control the disease, or we can say condition. So cause, so prolonged or persistent high blood glucose level is known as hyperglycemia, which can damage the body cells and lead to condition which is called as diabetes mellitus, where the body either doesn't produce enough insulin or can't use it properly, and eventually it will lead to difficulty in regulating blood sugar levels. Let's talk about symptoms and complications. So when there is a too much glucose in the blood, the kidneys cannot reabsorb all of it back into the bloodstream. So excess glucose is filtered out to the urine, which is why people with high blood sugar levels may notice sugar in their urine. So this process is a part of how the body regulates blood sugar levels. But when glucose levels are consistently too high, it can lead to health issues like diabetes. So when the body doesn't have enough glucose for energy, like during fasting or low carb diets, it starts breaking down fat for fuel. So this process is called as ketogenesis. It produces ketone bodies as byproducts, and these ketone bodies, these are acidic and can build up in the blood, leading to a condition which is called as ketoacidosis. So it can be harmful if not managed. So body uses, in this condition, body uses ketones as an alternative energy source for the brain and muscles. And when the glucose is scarce but in excess, they can disrupt the body's acid base balance. So the body begins producing harmful byproducts called as ketone bodies. Let's talk about treatment. So diabetic patients are successfully treated with insulin therapy to help manage their blood glucose levels, diet therapy to maintain blood glucose levels. So, by choosing the right food such as whole grain, vegetables, and lean proteins, which releases less sugar, or we can say which releases sugar slowly into the bloodstream, while avoiding sugary and high carb foods that can cause rapid spikes. Okay, so we should promote healthy diet. Then it improves lifestyle patterns. Let's talk about testes. In this picture, you can see hormones secreted by the testes. Let's start with the location first. So, testes is located in the scrotum outside the body to maintain a temperature slightly lower than the body temperature, which is very important for sperm production. So, it has dual function. It produces sperm by the process called as spermatogenesis, and secretes hormone like testosterone, which is very important for the development of male secondary sexual characters and maintaining muscle mass and bone density. So, in males, the testes are kept outside the body, as I have just told you now the testes are kept outside the body into the in the scrotum to maintain a slightly lower temperature than the body, which is necessary for proper production of sperm. And this placement helps ensure that the testes function correctly, as sperm production is more efficient at lower temperature, below which is few degrees below our body temperature. So the testes serves as a dual function. So it serves dual function. Okay, it produces sperm, which is a male reproductive cell, and it also produces hormones, mainly testosterone, which is responsible for the development of male secondary sexual characteristics and the maintenance of male reproductive tissues. So it acts as both primary sex organ and an endocrine gland. Okay, this means it produces both sex cells, that is sperm, as well as hormones, which is testosterone. So it is located outside the main body cavity, which is very important for spermatogenesis. Okay, because spermatogenesis need a temperature which should be slightly lower than the body's core temperature. So it is this is very important for the proper development and maturation of sperm, and this process is called as spermatogenesis. So spermatogenesis, we know it is the process of sperm production occurs in the testes and requires a temperature which is slightly lower than the body's normal temperature. Okay, we know that our body temperature is 37, but it needs temperature of 35 degrees. Okay, so this is because in the enzymes and cellular processes involved in sperm development function optimally at a cooler temperature, ensuring the proper formation of healthy sperm cells. Okay, so the testes, therefore, they are located outside the body in the scrotum to maintain this cooler environment. Structure and hormone production. So you can see the structure of testes and the cross section in this picture. Let's talk about internal structure of the testes. What are its key components. Okay, so it has two main internal parts, that is the outer layer which is called as tunica albuginea, and the inner layer which is made up of tightly packed seminiferous tubules where the sperm is produced. So these tubules are surrounded by supportive cells called as Sertoli cells, and they are enclosed within the network of interstitial cells that produces testosterone. So let's talk about seminiferous tubules first. So these are highly coiled tubes found in the testes where sperm are produced through a process which is called as spermatogenesis. So these tubules are lined with specialized cells that support and nourish the developing sperm cells, ensuring their main proper function as well as maturation. Then we have stromal or interstitial cells or tissues. So these are called as Leydig cells, and is the tissue or cells found in the spaces between the seminiferous tubules and the testes. So this tissue play a crucial role, or we can say key role, in producing testosterone, which is the male hormone, which is very important for development of secondary sexual characteristics and maintenance of sperm production. Then we have Leydig cells. These are also called as interstitial cells, are special cells found in the testes, especially in the spaces between the seminiferous tubules. So these are responsible for producing testosterone, which we know, which is a hormone that play a key role in development of male secondary sexual characteristics and sperm production. So they are located in the interstitial tissue, which is the connective tissue surrounding the seminiferous tubule in the testes. So Leydig cells are responsible for producing group of hormones which is called as androgens, with the most significant one being testosterone. Okay, so it is responsible eventually for the production of, or we can say for the secretion of testosterone hormone. Function of androgen, mainly testosterone. Let's talk about hormonal regulation. So we know that androgens, especially testosterone, play a key role in development of male secondary sexual characteristics such as muscle growth, facial hair, and deepening of the voice during puberty. So they also regulate sperm production in the testes and maintain muscle mass, bone density, and libido in adult males. Okay. Additionally, we can say that testosterone influences mood, behavior, and overall energy levels. So it first we have reproductive organ development. So it refers to the process by which the male and female systems mature and become functional, enabling the body to perform reproductive activities. We know this development is regulated by hormones like testosterone in males and estrogen in females, which drive the growth of organs such as testis, penis in males, and ovaries and uterus in the female, along with secondary sexual characteristics like facial hair in male and breast development in female. So this process typically begins during puberty, and it is a key part of human development, or we can say human growth and sexual maturation. Maturation and function, it mainly includes maturation and function, or we can say it promotes, or it lead to maturation and function of sex characteristics. Then these includes the epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, and prostate gland. So these structures like epididymis Vast difference. Seminal vesicles and prostate gland are main part of the male reproductive system. So they work together to produce and store and transport sperm. So the epididymis is a coiled tube where the sperm mature and are stored. And talking about vast difference, it is a long tube, or we can say tubule, that carries sperm from the epididymis to urethra. Talking about seminal vesicles and prostate gland, they produces fluid that mix with the sperm to form semen, which nourishes and protects the sperm during ejaculation. Spermatogenesis, we know it is a biological process through which spermatozoa, or we can say sperm, are released in the testes, and certain cells play a crucial role. Or we can say stimulatory role in the by helping in the regulation and support of the development of the sperm. So they play a key role, or we can say spermatogenesis. They play a crucial role in the process of spermatogenesis, which is the formation of spermatozoa. Sexual behavior or libido. So androgen influence the male central nervous system and regulate sexual behavior. So androgens like testosterone affect the male brain and control sexual behavior, including libido, by influencing the CNS, which helps regulate desires and responses related to sex. Development of male secondary sexual characteristics. It refers to physical changes that occur during puberty in boys, such as the growth of facial and body hair, deepening of voice, broadening of the shoulders, and increased muscle mass. So these changes are triggered by the hormone testosterone, which is produced by the testes. And these traits help in defining male identity, and they are very much important for sexual maturity as well as reproduction. So muscular growth, it refers to the process by which muscle cells become larger and stronger due to increased protein synthesis and muscle fiber development, primarily due through exercise and proper nutrition, which helps in building and repairing muscle tissues. Then growth. We know androgens, which are male sex hormones, play a key role in the growth of facial and axillary, or we can say underarm hair, in both males and females. So these hormones stimulate the hair follicles, encouraging them to produce thicker and darker hair. So this process is a part of development of secondary sexual characteristics during puberty, where and where androgens also influence muscle growth, voice deepening, and other physical changes. So, in females, androgens are present in smaller amounts, so the growth of facial and axillary hair is usually less pronounced compared to males. So, during puberty, you have observed that the voice pitch in males deepens and becomes lower due to the influence of testosterone, which causes the vocal cords to grow longer and thicker, making the voice sound deeper and more resonant. Bone marrow, so they help in blood RBC, or we can say red blood cell formation. Aggressiveness, so these hormones also contribute to increase aggressiveness in male. Let's talk about metabolic effects. So in here we have anabolic effects. In here, androgens produces anabolic, or we can say synthetic effects on protein and carbohydrate metabolism, promoting tissue growth as well as development. So let's bind up the chapter with summary. So we discussed about adrenal gland. It is located at the top of the kidneys and it produces hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Then these manage the body's stress response, regulate metabolism, control blood pressure, and influence the immune system. Then we also talked about pancreatic gland. They act as both endocrine as well as exocrine gland. Its islets of Langerhans contain cells that produces insulin and glucagon. Then we talked about how these hormones acts antagonistically. Okay, these hormones work antagonistically to maintain stable blood glucose levels. Then we also discuss about testes. It is found in the scrotal sac. This male gonad has dual functions. So the Leydig cells here produces androgens, primarily testosterone, which controls male sexual development behavior and stimulates sperm production. So let's discuss some NCRT based questions. So this is assertion reason type question, and here assertion is the adrenal medulla is often called the gland for flight or fight response, and reason given. The hormones adrenaline and non-adrenaline secreted by the adrenal medulla help the body to cope with stress and emergency conditions. So we have given four options. Let's see the correct one. Here, both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Let's see the answer in detail. So adrenal medulla, which is we know that inner part of the adrenal gland, releases two important hormones, namely adrenaline and non-adrenaline, when the body is under stress or during emergencies. So these hormones help the body to respond quickly by increasing heart rate, raising blood sugar, pressure, and boosting energy levels, preparing the body for flight and fight response. So this process is a part of sympathetic nervous system and is crucial for survival in dangerous situations. So it triggers the fight or flight response in stressful conditions. The reason is also true. Let's see why. Because adrenaline and non-adrenaline prepare the body for stress and different kind of emergencies by increasing heart rate, boosting blood sugar levels, and redirecting blood flow to the muscles as well as brain. Let's see why reason correctly explains assertion. So the release of these stress coping hormones is the reason why adrenal medulla is known as the gland for fight or flight response. So our option number A was correct. Then this is question number 2, and the question is of match the following type. So we have two columns, column 1 and column 2. We have to correctly match column 1 with column 2. So let's see the correct option. Option number B is correct, that is adrenal medulla A is matched with adrenaline, B which is pancreas is matched with 1 which is insulin, and C that is testis is matched with testosterone. Let's discuss the answer in detail. So we know adrenaline, or we can say epinephrine, is produced by the adrenal medulla, which is a key hormone in flight or fight response. The pancreas, we know it secretes insulin, which lowers blood glucose, specifically from the beta cells in the aisles of Langerhans. Then we also talked about testes, which is and how it produces, or we can say how it leads to secretion of the testosterone, which is a hormone which is important, which has dual function in the adult male. So here the male hormone testosterone is secreted by the Leydig cells in the testes. Okay. So it play a key role in development of male secondary sexual characteristics such as muscle growth, facial hair, and a deep voice. Now this is question number 4. Let's see the correct answer. So we have given two statements and we have to opt the correct one. And here option number A is correct, which is both statements are correct. Statement 1 is the pancreas is a composite gland with both exocrine and endocrine function, which is true. And second, the endocrine part of the pancreas consists of the aisles of Langerhans, which secretes insulin and glucagon. So let's see the solution. We know that pancreas is a composite gland that produces both exocrine. It is called as composite gland because it functions as both endocrine as well as exocrine gland, and it produces digestive enzymes, or we can say it is an exocrine function. Okay, talking about endocrine function, it releases hormones. We know hormones, what are they? These are the chemical messengers produced by the endocrine glands and are released directly into the bloodstream to regulate various bodily functions like growth, metabolism, and reproduction, acting on target organs and cells with specific organ hormone receptors. Okay, so the pancreas is a composite gland that produces digestive enzymes, which make them function as a exocrine glands, as well as hormones which make them function as a endocrine glands. So the endocrine portion, that is the aisles of Langerhans, produces insulin from beta cells and glucagon from alpha cells to regulate blood sugar. So our option number A is correct, which is both statement, that is statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. So these are some interesting facts about this chapter. So adrenal gland, we know in adrenal gland, outer cortex produces steroid hormones like cortisol. So the inner medulla of adrenal gland releases adrenaline. We have covered this also. Then we discussed the gland that is crucial for fight and flight response. It is the gland that is very much important for fight and flight response. Then it releases adrenaline to increase heart rate and blood pressure during stress. Then we talked about pancreas, that it is both an endocrine as well as exocrine gland. It produces hormones like insulin and glucagon. It also secretes digestive enzymes into the small intestine. It specialized aisles of Langerhans cells that sense blood sugar, which help to regulate glucose levels. Okay. Then we talked about testes, that the testes functions as both primary sex organ as well as an endocrine gland. And we also talked about interstitial cells that produces androgens like testosterone, which regulates male sexual development, or we can say secondary characteristics, sexual secondary characteristics. Okay. So these are some interesting questions. So you can take screenshot of it and you can solve this question after the completion of this lecture. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope this lesson was useful.